Hello everyone and welcome to a special episode of Retail Archaeology, where today, instead of taking a look at a mall or a retail store, we're going to be taking a look at a retail artifact all the way from 1993. We're going to be taking a look at the Sears Spring-Summer 1993 annual catalog. And this was actually the last complete Sears catalog that Sears published. So a lot of people actually made a mad dash to grab a hold of these to have a piece of Sears history back when this was originally published in 1993, and after that was it for the Sears catalog. So I don't want to make this intro too much longer because we're going to flip through this thing and take a look at some of the weird stuff, but I'm going to warn you, this thing is long. It's 1,500 pages, so I'll put some time codes down in the description to some of the more interesting sections in case you want to skip through some stuff that doesn't interest you. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this time capsule from 1993. So here it is, the very last Sears catalog, the 1993 Spring-Summer Annual Catalog. And let's think about this for a second. This little girl's probably, what, 8 years old? Let's see, 1993, it's 2018, so 25 years. This girl is probably older than this lady is now in this picture. And this thing's huge, by the way, just to give you an idea. I mean, it is thick. It's as big as a freaking phone book, man. Let's go ahead and start. Let's take a look at it. Let's try getting it straight. There we go. Man, this is a trip. This is like a time capsule. We've adjusted selected sizes in women's apparel. Okay. Oh my god, look at shoulder pads. Look at this. Oh my god, look at this. Safari print. Man, this is like the 90s. It even kind of smells like the 90s. This thing smells old, like old paper. Look at this ridiculousness. Shoulder pads, a hat. Get out of the... Jeez. Probably skip past a good chunk of the apparel. Look at these sweaters. What is all this? Hosiery? Man, look at all this. Look at this awful jewelry. That is so tacky. I feel like they still have some of this on the display racks in Sears right now. I bet if we went and took a look at a Sears, we would see that jewelry still there for sale, a lot of it. Oh my god, these dresses are awful. And I just want to point out to you, we are on page 124, and we're still in women's apparel in this thing. Hey, Mickey Mouse watches. Oh my god, that's ugly. I love comfort. Sears, best. These shoes look awful. Like I said, this is crazy. Look at that floor. Actually, I feel like I saw shoes like that recently somewhere. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. This is Keds. Remember Keds? They still sell Keds? I bet they... I don't know. I haven't seen a Keds commercial or anything in a long time. Wow, look at the Reeboks. British Knights. Remember British Knights? BK British Knights? Was it... MC Hammer did the commercials for those. Remember that?
BKs. Stop! British Knights time!
Oh my god, I think I saw this luggage on The Price is Right one time as a prize. Jordache luggage. Is Jordache? Is that brand still around? Oh, we're getting into the ladies' evening wear. Oh, and then every 12-year-old boy's favorite section of this Sears catalog, the bra and panties section. God, that's a big section of lingerie. What page are we on? 177 now? Still in lingerie. I got bloomers. Does anybody wear bloomers anymore like that? Too many boobs. Gonna get demonetized on YouTube. There we go. But now we're still in women's apparel. Awful. Oh, this is maternity wear. Baby. Yeah. Look at her face. And now we're into the baby stuff. We're gonna skip through all that. Oh, I found a coupon. What is this? Save a total of $15 on your next 2 catalog orders. You think this is still good? Oh, no, it says use through June 30th, 1993. It doesn't look like this is good anymore. I didn't know that was in there. That's kind of cool. When we say Sears catalog offers you more, we really mean it. Yeah, no crap. There's like 1,000 pages here. No other catalog can match Sears for selection, value, and convenience. Here's just a sample of the kinds of shopping advantages you'll find at Sears. Wow, how many other catalogs are going on? I guess catalogs were still a big thing back then. America's largest catalog selection, a true department store in print. Yeah, I think so. There's no way that Sears sells half of this stuff anymore. But that's kind of interesting to find in there. I mean, this is really like the size of a phone book. Well, a phone book back then. Phone books are really small now. Oh, now it looks like we're into men's apparel. Look at this Brad dude. Put that off to the side. Oh, look at these clothes, man. That is ridiculous. Well, now this stuff, they still sell this stuff. Boring. Yeah, that's all pretty timeless stuff right there. It's like the binding split a little bit. Oh yeah, it's starting to come apart. Let's get past this section then. Oh my god, quilts. And look, we're now on... Where's the page number here? Page 495 in the bedding section. Did people actually really flip through all of this and shop? That, you know, this is what's amazing to me about Sears is struggling. Sears had internet shopping, or basically non-store shopping, before there was an internet. You know, you could order, you know, way back when in the 1940s and 50s, you could order a house from Sears out of their catalog, you know, a prefab house. You could order anything from Sears. How they missed the boat on the internet and didn't get this stuff, you know, over to the internet and, you know, have internet sales going. Oh my god, look at this bathroom. Is awful. Carpet in a bathroom? Oh, that's bad. Look at that with the wallpaper. That's bad. Oh, that's awful. A curtain around the sink. And look at all the brass everywhere. Man, bathroom style sure has changed quite a bit, hasn't it? Look at that. Something else I wanted to point out too that I just noticed on the shoe page that's falling out is freaking John Madden. John Madden endorsed shoes, amongst other things, apparently. I didn't know that, so that was funny. But anyways, back to going through the catalog. Let's keep going and see what other weird crap we can find. Oh, that's just awful. Who puts a skirt around a pedestal sink? Let's see what else. Let's get out of the bathroom. See what other stuff we can. Oh wow, look at that. I feel like that's like a 90s sitcom bathroom. That too. Jeez. Let's see what other interesting stuff we can. So much. I guarantee you they don't sell any of this stuff anymore. Look at all this stuff. Sears probably doesn't carry a tenth of this anymore. Oh. This is awful. That's repulsive. I wonder if anybody still has these shower surrounds in their houses, if they still exist somewhere, because with the brass and everything, because that's just amazingly tacky. The 90s were a freaking wasteland. They sold saunas. I didn't know that. What didn't Sears sell? We're on page 604 now, and I don't even think we're halfway through. Hot tubs. Old lady bathtubs with chairs. Oh, now we're on to window coverings. Awful. Just these always end up being gross. These like vinyl blinds, they always end up being covered in dust. Look at all this home decor stuff. Wow, look at this stuff. I haven't seen chairs and stuff like this in ages. Probably since I was in a Sears in the 90s was probably the last time I saw stuff like this. Oh, the binding is just coming apart on this thing. I gotta be careful. CRT television. I don't know that I would put something. I mean, those are heavy. I don't know that I would. I'm sure there's a frame or something, but wicker doesn't seem substantial enough to support a CRT television. Oh, remember futons? These were huge in the 90s. Like every kid that I went to high school with had one of these in their bedroom. Wow, it's like looking like these couches and stuff are at Goodwill now. Like that's where you find these, is at like thrift stores now, these couches. Look at that print. Look at the pictures and stuff. So much brass, man. Stained glass lamps. And I do know people that still have these in their homes. These are kind of, I mean, not so much the brass chains, but these are kind of timeless. These, however, are not. Wow. That all looks like early 90s builder grade. Just look at this thing. Look, wow, pink. touch lamps. I remember when this was a huge thing, where you would just tap the lamp and it would turn on. And this is almost like a Home Depot catalog too. I mean, everything in here now, this is all stuff you would go to Home Depot to buy. Or Lowe's or whatever it is that you have near you. That's terrible. I feel like now every like HGTV like house flipping show you watch, they're usually ripping these down, these kind of patio things. Sears vinyl, they had their own brand of sheds. I didn't know that. It looks like it's made out of the same stuff they made the aluminum or the vinyl siding out of they used to sell. Patio furniture. Again, all stuff that I see at Goodwill, but like rusted to hell and back now. Now, what is not in this catalog, and how did Sears screw this up? Stuff to like, I mean, would you think of to go to Sears now to buy stuff to set up a koi pond? That's not something you think about, but you know, back in the 90s, Sears sold that through their catalog. Above ground pools. Dog beds, look at that. Oh, he's cute. Oh, shot colors, nice. Really elaborate bird. That's a bird, like, condo complex. Oh, look at the Craftsman Library. I remember seeing commercials hosted by Bob Vila for these.
Made in the USA and guaranteed forever.
It's too bad he's not in this catalog. That would be cool. I know he did a lot of stuff for Sears. Craftsman Tools. Back when Craftsman Tools were good too. To be honest with you, these tools are probably a lot of these people still have today in their garages and are still probably in great condition. I have some of these Craftsman screwdrivers still that I've had forever. Man, like that's the thing about it too. I mean, Sears screwed that up so bad. Back in the 90s when you thought of like quality tools, Craftsman, that's where you went, Sears, you know, and these are things that you thought of. You thought of Sears first before anything else, and then just over the years, that's changed. I feel like a third of this catalog is tools. Car accessories. Oh my God, look at that truck. That is pure 90s in automotive form right there. Look at that. Why would you do that? That's awful looking. Oh, that's terrible. What is that? Oh, stuff for your custom conversion van with... That's cool. Ladder racks. Wow, look at all this stuff. This is the like Checker Auto, O'Reilly Auto Parts portion of the catalog. They really... So I mean, they sold Edelbrock air cleaners and stuff. Look at that. Jensen. There's a brand you don't... There's a brand that screams quality. Jensen. I feel like Pioneer and Jensen... I don't know. Jensen stuff's okay, you know, with my experience with it, but it's just funny to see those two names together. Ah, Sears batteries. I'll tell you that, like the tire shop, the Sears Automotive centers, those are usually the busiest part of Sears when I go to them, is the automotive center, people getting new tires and stuff. So that they must have good deals on that stuff, but it's not enough to keep them afloat. On tent technology doesn't seem like it's changed much either. I feel like these still look like tents you would buy today. Tons of workout gear. I do see all this stuff still. This is old stuff though, man. Look at that 90s rockin' hair. This stuff they do carry in the stores still. The treadmills and stuff like that. I still see these in the stores. The weight sets, the Nordic Track. You know, I saw a Nordic Track at Sears last time I was there. They still put cassette players on those. There's a place for you to hook up your iPod, and you can also plug in your mixtape. Oh, look at these old cameras. I see a lot of these at Goodwill now, too. These kind of cameras in the case, these old SLRs. Whoa, pagers. Cordless telephones. Remember these? You weren't anybody in the 90s unless you had a cordless telephone. Motorola made a flip phone that looked, or a cordless phone that looked like their flip cell phone. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. And then pagers. CB radios, you don't see these. I don't know if those are in use anymore either. Oh wow, old word processors with old CRT display. This is crazy. Look at this thing. How much were these? $500 for a word. I mean, you could get a computer, and you know, I don't know what that is if you adjust that for inflation. What $499 was in 1993 money, but you know, in today's money you can get a netbook for, you know, like a Chromebook for $199, and it's going to do a lot more than word processing. You can plug a keyboard into it, the USB port, all that stuff. So that's crazy to think about. This stuff was that expensive back then. What else did we miss here? Typewriters. Well, these look exactly the same. You still see those in offices all over the place today. Oh, wow, Packard. But okay, so this computer, this one right here, actually, the Legend 750, the 486 SX 25 megahertz, that's the exact computer I had growing up as a kid. Now, my parents bought, and look at this, somebody just did the paint. That's just a picture made in paintbrush. They just drew boxes and circles and filled them in, just like we would have done as kids. That's funny. Just like I did on this computer. I still have this keyboard somewhere. That's the only thing I have left of this. But I had that model, the Legend 750, and that's what I grew up. I played Commander Keen on that, Wolfenstein. Later on, I put a Reveal double-speed CD-ROM drive in it, and a Sound Blaster clone sound card and stuff, and was playing Doom. That's a lot. This is a lot of my childhood right here, and it looked just like this. It was the same model. That's crazy. Mouse and everything. Wow, that's cool. I would kill to have that computer today. That's cool. Packard Bell, a lot of nostalgia in that name. The new IBM Actually, let me go back and think. Look at how much was that? Was $1,400. That's probably pretty close. I think that's what my parents paid. Actually, I kind of remember them. I think they paid like $1,300 at Dillard's. But man, adjusted for today's, if you adjust that for inflation, that's a lot of money back then. And same thing with this, like $2,700 for a 486 DX. Look at that, 33 megahertz. Wow, that is some ancient technology. Still have the. Oh, and then the Mac stuff too they sold. Now, I worked on a lot of this stuff when I worked as a computer repair tech for a school district. That's really nostalgic to see that too. Printers, I still suck back then and suck today. Oh, look, here's a 386 SX notebook from Packard Bell. Wow, that's cool. Wow, look at these receivers. Wow, this is a trip seeing this stuff. I mean, as far as I know, Sears doesn't sell hardly any electronics. They don't carry TVs anymore or anything. I'd love to have, like, a stereo system like this, like find an old console stereo system like this, with a turntable. That would be cool. Boom boxes. Walkman. Every time I find these now, they usually don't work. Usually the belts are bad in them now, which is unfortunate. Something that can be fixed. Oh, look at that radio. That's cool. I like old radios. That's something I like quite a bit. Hey, video games. Nintendo. What was a Game Boy going for in 1993? $80. You get an NES for $90. Wow, look at all these games. What do we got here? Kirby's Dream Land, Super Mario Land 2, that's for the Game Boy. Oh, these are all Game Boy games. Felix the Cat, that's not a cheap game anymore. Vegas Dreams. A lot of these are still fairly cheap. Oh, and then we got the Super Nintendo. Wow, the Super Nintendo was only $10 more expensive than the NES. Oh, that came with Mario, but that came with Super Mario World and 2 controllers. That's kind of surprising. There was only a $10 difference. And that is some awful old Mario art. Wow, I don't feel like they were using that art style for Mario hadn't been using that for a long time when Super Mario World came out. That's interesting, but that's cool to see. So this is the Nintendo. Does it say Funtronics on here anywhere? That would be cool if there was a Funtronics logo. I spent a lot of time at the Funtronics counter as a kid at Sears. Nice, and here's the Sega section. What do you got here? Wow, the Sega CD was $300. The Genesis was $100 also. Oh, then you had your Game Gear. I like my Game Gear quite a bit. I had a Game Boy growing up, but I got one of these not too long ago, an actual working one, and I enjoy it. Streets of Rage 2, that's a game I had on the Genesis growing up. So yeah, there's the Sega page. That's awesome. That's it, huh, for video games? Look at that camcorder, man. That looks like the future in 1993. You know what would be cool? There's no way you could get away with it though. You'd have to get permission from the mall first. But to be able to walk into a mall with an old VHS camcorder like this and film a dead mall video, that would be cool. Because I see these at Goodwill all the time, and a lot of times they're in working condition still. So you just have to get permission, I guess. Well, look at Handicap. Look at these things, man. What do those record to? Oh, the mini VHS. That's, wow, those are crazy. Oh, here's, what is this, VCRs and stuff? Laserdisc, that's freaking cool. I had a Laserdisc player up until about 2 years ago, and I got rid of it because they are temperamental and I was constantly having to have it fixed, and they're huge. So this doesn't give you a good idea how big they are, but think about like what a VCR was in the 90s. They were at least twice as big, these things. They're huge. And then the Laserdiscs themselves, like in their packaging, they're just as big as vinyl records. You got to store that too. So I kept a couple of the Laserdiscs that I had just because the cover art is cool and I use them, hang them up as artwork, but I got rid of the player in most of my collection. Sometimes I regret it, but oh, remember the rich people had TVs underneath their counter in the kitchen. That's crazy. Space-saving TVs. Wow. Zenith, Sony. Magnavox, LXI. Is that like the super generic brand? Or is there like huge, like big screen TVs? That's what I want to see. There we go. Big TVs. Back when console TVs were still a thing, when your TV was like a piece of furniture in your living room. Now we had one like this when we were kids. We had a big, huge rear projection television, and it was funny when my parents finally got rid of it. It was in our garage at one point because newer, better TVs had come out and we had replaced it. We still kept it, but it barely worked. Like there's like 3 big bulbs. You should look into how these work because it's kind of interesting, but they're not good TVs. They don't hold up over time. Look at that. I've seen commercials lately for refrigerators that do this and act like this is a new feature. Here's a refrigerator doing this kind of thing back in '93. It's an old Kenmore logo. Looks like we're getting about to the end of the catalog. Man, look at this. We're getting to the end. And we're on page 1527. That's crazy. Man, these catalogs are huge. That's crazy to think about. This was the last, and this one's falling apart unfortunately, but this was it. This was the last full, I think we had this vacuum when I was growing up. Look at that. I'm pretty sure we had this vacuum when I was a kid. That's crazy. But yeah, this was the last catalog they put out, and this was in 1993. And I guess this one's held up pretty okay, all things considered how old it is in 2018. But it's just crazy to see where Sears was in 1993, versus where they're at now as a company. Not selling hardly any of this stuff anymore, and just really a shell of what they were compared to this back then. Crazy. I got the washer and dryers at the very end. What is the last page number on here? I want to see. So 1,555 pages. That's amazing. So there it is, guys. The very last Sears catalog. Unfortunately, we couldn't obviously look at every page because that would just take forever to go through 1,500 pages. But if there's any sections that I skipped over that you'd like, a closer look at, let me know. Maybe we can do another quick video looking. I'd like to look at other old catalogs and stuff too. So if there's any other ones you'd like me to take a look at, let me know what those are. I'll keep an eye out for them, and maybe during those we can pull this one back out again and look at any sections you guys felt like I skipped over or didn't show, or interesting things you know about in this catalog. Because I'll be honest with you, 1,554 pages is pretty daunting to go over. I flipped through this thing a few times and tried to remember where the interesting stuff was, so hopefully I got to most of it. Anyways, guys, yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure and hit those like and subscribe buttons, and take care.
Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey, thanks for checking out my video on the last catalog this Sears ever published. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also make sure to follow us at the social media links down below, because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.